What's up, my Flatland rider buddies? I am Jean-William Prévost. This is Flat System 009. This one will be a bit different. I will show you guys how to change the pawls and springs on a FREECOASTER FREECOASTER hub. This is something that a couple people have been asking here and there about, and they often say that the other video isn't clear enough. So I'll try to get like some close-up shots of what to do and what tools to use, and yeah, it's pretty basic and straightforward, but I will show you how to do it so you can follow me as I change mine, because I've been getting a bit more slippage than I usually would, which means that the pawls are getting a bit used up just from riding a lot. I've been riding a lot. And so I'm going to take my wheel off and then I'll show you how it's done. And then you are left with the wheel. Alright? Okay. So here are the tools that you're going to need. You're going to need a rag, you're going to need an adjustable wrench, you're going to need an axle vise, and you're gonna need a vise. So there it is, a vise. That's the vise. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you want to get the lock nut off of the wheel on the drive side, but sometimes, since there is no double lock nuts on this hub, then this side might come off first. If that happens, that is an important moment to use the axle vise. But I will start by taking off the drive side nut or cone or whatever you want to call it first. I also have a fresh set of cones which I'm going to change on my wheel, because I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, because these are the new ones. They have some etching on the side that hits the dropout, so that I will have less slippage of my wheel inside the frame. So here we go. We're just gonna use this. See, now I'm seeing that the non-drive side is coming loose first. So what I'm gonna do is I will remove this side. I will remove the non-drive side first, and the spacer that's on it. Sometimes it kind of wants to catch here for some reason. Okay, take these out. So I'm left with the bare axle. That's when you use the axle vise. I'll put a link in the show notes so that you can see where you can purchase some of these, but you don't have to get a Park Tool one. You can get a cheaper one out there, but this is definitely the right way to work on the hub. So I don't know if you can see here, you're gonna take the axle threaded part and you're gonna put it in the bigger hole there. So it's like a softer material than the vise, and then you're gonna tighten a fair amount. You don't want to damage it, but tighten a fair amount so that the wheel is firmly secured. And then that means that the axle inside the hub will not be moving. So I will remove the drive side nut now. There you go. Now it's coming off. Yeah, now it's off. I don't know if you can see from there, but I am experiencing quite a bit of wear and tear on my driver. I've been riding a lot, but I keep my chain very tight, and titanium is a softer material than chromoly, so it will definitely wear down a bit faster. And we have the thinner chain cog we use now. After a lot of people requested it, so it's compatible with both 1/8 and 1/32 chains. So then you can remove the driver. Sometimes it comes out as one piece, and other times it doesn't. So yes, so the driver part, on the driver here you have the driver part. Inside you have the bearings. If you guys are interested in knowing how to change the bearings, I could make a video about that soon. It being the titanium version of the Far East hub, it has two shims, these two shims, so they can stay there. There are two shims there. So I'm left with the driver and the free coasting. I call it the free coasting device. So basically the magic happens there, and inside there's another shim. If you can see it, it moves around there. So I'm gonna zoom in a bit so we can see what's going on here. All right, I'm gonna change the angle here. So you can see here the inside of the driver, and I will clean off a bit of grease so we can see a little bit more clearly what's going on. All right, so can you guys see it? Right here you can see that you got the pawl and the spring underneath it. Pawl and spring underneath it, okay? Just to explain it real quick, so basically the free coasting device has a range inside it, which is like a cavity, like a semicircle cavity in there, and these little notches, they go in there. You line up the pawls with the opening, and this is basically when you backpedal, then they tuck. Yeah, the pawls tuck and then you are free coasting. All right, so okay, back to what we were doing here. I'll put this there. So yeah, I don't know if you can see, so you can pull these out. You just pull them up sideways. If you can see the shape of it, the tooth has lost its edge. So see, it's rounded. So when it gets rounded like that, then it starts to slip a bit more. And since you see that we only have two pawls, other hubs in other companies that are not necessarily free coasters, but cassette hubs have a lot more pawls. But this is what makes it possible to have such a good free coaster. So when this gets rounded, you will like skip a tooth. So when people ask me like, what's going on? My hub is popping. That popping sound is just because you slipped and skipped a tooth on the inside of the cog. Yeah, here's the inside of the cog there. I'm gonna show you. Yeah, so when you slip a tooth, basically, yeah, it misses a tooth and slips and catches the next one. So So when the pawls get rounded out, it's good to change them. So I would say, like, if you pedal a lot, I don't know, change them once or twice a year. If you don't, once a year should be fine. It's just a couple bucks, but it'll make a big difference. Also, sometimes it might be the springs that got a bit weak, and then it's good to change them as well. I'll show you the difference between a fresh pawl and an old pawl. So you can see the difference here. See, this one's rounded and this one is sharp. So yeah, basically there's a difference between a used pawl and a new pawl. You can see the top one is rounded out and the bottom one is sharp. So that's why we are changing them. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and remove the second old pawl, and then you can see the springs in there. You just pull on them and they come out, right? And then same thing goes to this one. Pull on it and get it out. So you gotta remember, yeah, these ones as well get a bit of wear and tear hairs to it. Okay, so there's the driver without the pawls and springs, and now you can go ahead and install the pawl back in. So the flat surface of the pawl should be facing down, and you can just you just see the flat surface of the pawl should be facing down on the inside of the driver, and you want to just slide it in like that. I kind of squeezed it a little bit just so that it fits, and you see now, you should see now that it's facing upwards like that. I don't know if this is clear right now. Yeah. All right, so now that the spring is in, I can go ahead and pop in the pawl as well, going the other way. So as you want to go ahead and, because you have to slide this in this way, you're gonna hold back the spring as you can see now. The spring is pushing up on it, and that's how you replace a pawl. I'm going to go ahead and do it on the other side so that you see it clearly. Once again, the flat side goes, so we're basically going on the left side as well, because this goes this way, right? And it engages. The drive side is always on the right side of the bike. So we're gonna go ahead and squeeze this part of the pawl so that it fits in. Squeeze a little bit, don't bend it, so that it fits in nicely here. All right, and then we're gonna make sure it's a new pawl, and we're gonna do the same thing. You go like this is the best way to do it. You go ahead, you push it in. You see it's kind of at an angle. I'll do it again. You go ahead and I don't know if you see you push it in like that with like the middle part, and then you slide the pawl in. I hope this is clear. Okay, so I'll do a test with the free coasting device real quick, or the free coasting disc, or however you want to call it. Might be a bit stiff right at the beginning, but here we go. Now they are very strong. The springs will make sure that they really pop out once. See, they really pop out quickly. They're stronger, the springs now, because they're brand new. You can always add a dab of grease here. I'll do it just for the purpose. See, I have just a dab of grease. I would just a dab of grease. I would just go ahead and, well, actually first I'm gonna clean that up a little bit. See, there's the shim in here. Just like a quick clean up. If you want to go all out, you can really like pass it through some WD-40 and clean it out. I want to clean out the shim as well. It goes in there, and then I'm gonna put this little dab of grease here. I can put a bit more. That's basically the only place that you need to put any grease in. So yeah, just there, so that wherever there's some rubbing, you don't need much more than that. And same thing on the other side. Oh, there's almost nothing. Yeah, so that it works out. So this is basically the only place that you're gonna want to put grease in the hub, and then because that's where the notches engage, and then yeah, then they close up. See that? You don't really want to get grease on the pawls because you don't want slippage, so you just clean them up real quick. I don't think that'll do much, but yeah. So that's how you change the pawls inside of the driver. So then you're gonna tuck them back in to get them ready to put it back into the hub. So with the Thai version, you'll have two of these that are on there. They should stay there. They're at the back of the driver. And now that you have the driver, you got to make sure that it is closed, as in a free coasting mode when you put it back in. Not like this, where the pawls are sticking out, but with the pawls in. And then you slide it back onto the axle. So behind the driver, you'll have two shims with a Thai version and one shim with a steel version FEC free coaster. So now that I have the driver back on there, I want to get the cones back on. Yeah. So the cones for the 10mm female axle is this one on the drive side. It's a thicker one, made of titanium. And then I'm just gonna screw this back in. Hand tighten is okay, or I could actually just give it a bit of a nudge here, just so until it's hand tight, that's fine. It doesn't need to be very tight, but it needs to be firm, but not very tight, because the more pressure you will put, the more you'll be squeezing the bearings, which is not necessarily great. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the wheel around, so that I can tie in the other cone on with the spacers. So I will show you now. I will put the spacer back on. That's on the 10mm version, but this one also comes on the 14mm one. If you can see this here. Yeah. So just gonna slide this back on here. If you could see right now, it's back on there. And this cone, what's going on here? And then I screw it in. So I want to go and grab the drive side this time, because that one's tight already. Inside the vise, without the axle vise. And then just also hand tighten this. And that should be it for the pawl change. Pawls and spring. So let's hear what it sounds like now. Sounds even louder than it was before. I don't know if so flatland mode, engage mode. A lot louder, a lot more reactive on the spring because we changed it. It's a fresh one. All right, so that will be the change of the pawls and springs on the Far East Cycles FREECOASTER. So that was the change of pawls and springs on the Far East Cycles BMX Flatland FREECOASTer. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put my wheel back on. And if you guys have any questions, you can ask in the comments. And let me know what you think. If you like this video, you can like and comment or subscribe to the channel. Hopefully we will have more videos like this. If I get some feedback, if you guys think it should be done a better way, any kind of feedback is welcome. So I'm gonna put this wheel back on. So here's the change of pawls and springs on the Far East Cycles FREECOASTER. Thanks for watching.